Yeah, my name is Dietrich from Callas Software. It's about archiving emails as PDFA. It will be kind of a practical thing. I've just mentioned PDFA pilot in my 5 minutes, and I will explain first what is kind of some backgrounds, technical backgrounds about what needs to be known when it's about converting emails and to PDFA and for what reason and so forth. It's the first part, and then a brief introduction into technical things, so what you need to know on a technical level when converting email. And then my colleague, Marc Heusmann, our senior product manager, is going to demonstrate how that works with PDFA pilot. And of course, you're not that many, I'm only one, so whenever you have any questions, just let me know, and also what question you have. So first, as kind of a brief introduction, we all know email is in a way replacing paper mails, so messages that we have received 20 years before as paper are increasingly coming in by emails to insurance companies or whoever, to whatever company we are working for. At least for my business life, it is really true that internet, of course, has changed everything, but I think most important is email. So whenever I used to work by phone in the past, most of the stuff is going on by email as of today. So, and if that is true, and if we are a company who has maybe document-related processes that are defined within a document management system or so, and we archive documents, then we need to know what is email. Email, of course, is originally a digital format. So, but can we just save that into our archive? Can we just use the email as digital as it is in our document workflows? And what, in fact, is the original file format of an email? And these are the questions I want to answer first. So if you research a little bit and find out, okay, where is email defined, you will find the RFC, the request for comments from the Internet Committee, number 833, which defines email communications. And this RFC says, okay, some message systems, meaning email servers or email clients, may store messages in formats that differ from the one specified in the standard. And this specification is intended strictly only to define what message content is to be passed between email relays. So it's not about what an email relay or an email client would save to the disk. It's just about communication. So email is not a standardized file format. So whatever an email program stores, that is just application dependent. That depends on the email program, the email server, the email client that I'm using. What is standardized is what the communication between the email programs. So if we want to take care of what is on the disk, whether we can save it to our archive or not, then we need to know what is there. So, and that is nothing that is being defined by the email standard, by the RFC. So, as said before, emails as stored by the email servers, by the email relays. So email is being passed from one server to the other, and maybe the server needs to save something to the disk. Whenever the server would do so, it would do that in a proprietary format, usually in databases. And then finally, if the email arrives at your email server, your client connects to the server via POP3 or with IMAP, it remains on the server. But if you would export the email from the server with your client to your disk, you will find it will end up in the proprietary format of the email client, which is for Apple Mail, EMLX, for Thunderbird it's EML. For Outlook you have usually a database, it's PST, or if you export it's MSG, or for Opera Mail you have MLX. So there are several different formats being used, all of which are not standardized. And I've done a little more research because I know that in many archives MSG from Microsoft Exchange or Outlook is being used, and I found an entry in a Microsoft blog written by an employee of Microsoft who's there, I don't know, maybe in support or customer contact, and he says that he has received many inquiries about the MSG format from people who are not having problems with the MSG format, and he says, okay, whenever he needs to answer something frequently, he tends to write a blog about it, and this is the blog he wrote there. It's from 2008, and he says, okay, people are trying sometimes to use the MSG format as an archival format, but that is not their intended purpose. So it's not intended to be used as an archival format. And if you want to archive email, he says, you should develop your own format for persisting the data. And then you will get advantages in versatility, speed, and fidelity. So if you need to trust that your file will work in the future, you can add all metadata that you want, then you should not use MSG. So, conclusion, the MSG format that is today used in many archives, it is open, meaning Microsoft has specified the format, so you can read about it, but it's proprietary, so it's defined by Microsoft, and it's subject to version changes, and it's nothing that you can rely on for in the future, that you can will still be able to use it. Okay? So, kind of a conclusion from this introduction into the email format. So what actually is the email format? First, email is changing. When a sender sends an email, some header fields are being added, and then the email goes from one email server to the next one, and each email server will add header fields, metadata to the email. So, and when we say, okay, we want to save the email in its original format, the question is, what was the original format? The email as it has been sent, or the email as it has been received? And which is not the same. And as I said before, if the sender would use, I don't know, Opera, and the receiver would use Outlook, it's definitely not the same file format that you will find on the hard disk. So the email is changing. And in addition, each email client may change its internal format during the lifetime of the client. So a new version may use a different version of the file format. So, in fact, if we want to make sure that we will be able to read the file in the future, we would have to archive our email client together with the email. That is, of course, and then we will need to make sure that we will have a system, meaning an operating system in the future, that will be able to run that email client. So we will have to, or we would have to take care of many things. And that's just the beginning, so it really gets even much more complicated when we say, okay, but an email may have an attachment, like a Word file or Excel spreadsheet or whatever, or a zip file, or some kind of sophisticated archive system. So, and then if we want to archive that, the whole thing, then we need to take care of these formats as well. Okay. Now, next, let's go one step back and have a look at the archive system. Why is it possible? Why is it important to be system independent in an archive? First, so system independence here means first to be independent from a viewer. So meaning for the email file format, you want to be independent from an email client that we need to display the email. So we want to have only standardized file formats, an ISO standard or a standard where we can rely that there will be a viewer in the future, in, I don't know, 10 years from now, in the future operating system, that there will be a viewer for that particular file format. But in addition, we need to make sure that we are independent from a system. So we need to have standardized file formats, but also the system that we are using, meaning the archive system, the document management system or so. We need to make sure that we use a system, or we will be able to have that archive system in this future as well. And if we think a little bit about that one, that actually means if we can have a file format that has all the metadata that is related to the, let's say, the email, the sender from the email, the receiver, when it has been sent, when all this metadata is part of our file format, then we are actually independent from the archive system, because all the information is part of the entity that we store into our archive system. And then we can easily, if we need to migrate, because maybe our archive system is not available in 10 years from now, we can easily export from that archive system everything and import that into a new one. Is it clear? That makes sense. So the conclusion is the archive format needs to be complete. It needs to have all the metadata embedded into the archive format. And for email, that means an email needs to be present in the archive in conjunction with its attachments. So meaning the relation between the main part of the email body, and the attachment need or should be part of the email as we save it into our archive. Okay, and now PDFA. PDFA first is complete. So I just said, okay, an important requirement for archives is the completeness of the file that we store. Fonts are embedded, everything is part of the file format, and some additional things that are not so important in this context. So that's the first requirement, and that can be met. But in addition, we said, okay, we want the email to be complete and to contain the attachments, or at least have references to the attachments. How can we achieve that? And that is PDFA, a brief overview, because that is important in this context. We have PDF. I think you are somewhat familiar with PDFA, or who is not? Okay. So there is PDFA Classic, that the first standard part, which came out in 2005. And that simply doesn't allow for any email attachments. So you all know you can attach files to a PDF file. And PDFA2, that is permitted, but each and every attachment needs to be compliant with PDFA, so it needs to be a PDF file, and in fact a PDFA file. And PDFA3 is somewhat extensible. That means you can attach arbitrary file formats. We had that in the introductory session as well, so I think that is somewhat clear. And for email, that would mean for the attachments, when we convert an email to PDFA, attachments need, for PDFA1, attachment need to become additional pages. For PDFA2, of course, that means we need to convert everything to PDFA. And for PDFA3, we can say we can attach original file formats. Assume we receive an email together with an Excel file. We need to convert the Excel to PDF, or we can convert the Excel to PDFA and embed both to our PDFA file so that we are still able to use the Excel spreadsheet as an Excel spreadsheet. Right. So far, kind of theory, and now I'm giving over to my colleague Marc for a more practical demonstration.
Yeah, when it's come to a technical demonstration, it's always my part. I try to make something between sitting and standing, because I want to show you something, how we implemented this in our PDFA software, which is called PDFA Pilot. So I just switched to Windows on this machine where we have the PDFA Pilot system, and yeah, how did we implement it? So we have, sorry for the German words here, so we have different types of emails. We have emails with pure text, simply text emails like in the past, HTML emails, which is quite common for today, and of course we have emails with attachments. So where any kind of attachment can be included, and we want to have a solution for all of them so that we can simply save them as a PDF in the different ways Dietrich just showed here about the different PDFA 1, 2 and 3 standards. So we support at the moment EML, EMLX and MSG. The suffix is not displayed here, but you can trust me that this is an EML file like it's written there. It's simply dropped on the PDFA pilot. You can also use it in a server context or a CLI context. And what you see is that this EML file is converted on the fly to something which looks quite similar to the output. Try to increase the view here a little bit. Quite similar to the output which is created when you would print it out in your Outlook or Thunderbird or whatever. We have different style sheets for the different feelings and looks. And
is this a normal PDF now or already PDFA?
This is already a PDFA 1B file.
Oh, okay.
It's converted. You see it here down. We have the marker there that it's converted on the fly directly to PDFA 1B. So it's just a simple text email with some content.
Do you preserve the header information, like the hops and so on?
I can show you this also. Yeah, we of course, like Dietrich said, that the aim is that we want to have some kind of independency from document management systems. That you have the power on the possibility that you have your PDF files in your management system where it's stored. But when the management system you want to change it, the company isn't existing anymore of your document management system and so on, you still have the PDF files, and so you can simply merge them into another development system. So I changed here in the metadata explorer, like we call it, and there's the normal XMP stuff from the conversion. And here we have no namespace introduced, where you have all the relevant header data from an email, which is somewhere in the headlines. You have the date, you have the from message IDs, received from which servers, which time, which return paths, which sender, which addressee, which subject. All this is stored also in the XMP data of the
Actually,
PDF.
Most of the header information is being inserted into the XMP. Some of it we try to use as whenever possible predefined XMP metadata fields, so that are already specified in the XMP specification, and whenever possible we did that, and in addition we created our own namespace, callas software.com in this case, where all the rest and in some cases duplicates of the other entries show up, and then we, in addition, we need for PDFA to create an extension schema that covers this new namespace.
One question, didn't you find any already established this namespace for email metadata?
There is no predefined, so the XMP specification does not provide a namespace.
No XMP, but namespace already which for email content now, because now we have to apply to this namespace.
You can also adjust this. You can adjust it to your own namespace. When you implement it in your own system, you can also invent when you want to have more header fields. We have the possibility simply in the templates which are running behind it. It's quite simple.
This PDF is now made with this namespace.
This is made with this namespace, but all the conversion takes place based on an HTML template, which makes the look and feel, and some JavaScripting. Simply JavaScripts behind, which has to do some kind of mappings, and you can adjust this
You can adjust this.
You can change it.
Yeah, you can adjust, but if you are aware of some namespace which already is available or kind of a standard for email metadata, I'm not aware, but if there is one, that would be a good idea, so I agree in a way. So
For sure there's one, but I'm also not aware of, let's say, famous one or heavily used one or widely accepted one.
But like I said, we kept it most flexible as possible, especially look and feel and also the metadata. So with a little bit of programming knowledge and a little bit help of our support, it's quite easy done. So nothing you have to worry about. So this is just a simple email, but yeah.
Something I would say is that area is wide open. It's wide open for definition. And nobody has limited up to now, and nobody has found the solution for that yet. So there is no standard that everyone would start to use. So if whoever can come up with a nice one, maybe also will adopt it if they say, okay, that covers all of our needs. So that's wide open. Everybody will do what they want individually, and at some point, something will form out of that, saying, okay, this is one that's comfortable for everyone now. But it's still open for anybody's game.
Okay. So now you can say, okay, simple email is not so complicated. Parsing all these stuff from EML or SNG and putting it into something more complicated. We also implemented a way to convert HTML emails, of course, because it's the most common thing, and messages are containing images, and these images are a relevant part of an email, and also contains relevant information. So it just saved some emails from incoming newsletters. It took a little bit longer, I don't know why. Hopefully the internet connection does not break again, because I wanted to show you that hopefully this internet
But
connection.
does it need the internet now?
Yeah, it does need the internet now. So it's not
for
so smart.
HTML, there is image references, and if you want to archive an HTML email, you cannot rely on that the images that are available as of today in the internet, that these images will be available in the future as well. So
It looked like we have no internet on this.
Can we control how he gets to the internet?
yeah, via the settings of course of the computer.
Our servers are not allowed to go to the internet, period.
Okay. Then you will not be able to, like in this case, to have the images in the archive email. So it would only do.
Or we need a controlled way where we can go through a trusted source that can control what's being accessed through the internet. Because that is the danger area right now, is that the internet is wide open for anything. And in order to protect us from those who want to harm us, we need to put a security guard on what's allowed to go through. So that's
a
something.
firewalling topic. You can do that easily by
Yes,
having
but-
an application firewall controlling the data stream.
Yes, but that's, we need something in this department that would look at, with a blacklist, whitelist, not just the firewall, but something else, when you go to a bar at night, the guy who doesn't let you in, okay, the door guard, you need something that's configurable, that can warn you, wait a minute, what are all the places we're going, where we can manage that, what do we have, what do we want to allow, sort of like an approving authority, this is, would like to go here, should we allow that? If you don't, then we have nothing, but if
Sounds like a proxy with a blacklist.
well, yes, but that, yes, definitely a proxy part, but something where someone has to review it, I wouldn't trust that to a full automatic system these days.
You can strip that one down to a specific firewall on an application layer basis. There are one or two now in the market dealing with that topic where you can specifically say that you just want to have a special port and a special communication protocol even down to that from one application blocking the rest of the communication to the internet at this point. You could then strip it down to that specific application, just saying it's only allowed to download maybe JPEG information or whatever from the source that's not available.
With a whitelist, blacklist?
And that's definitely not part of our
I
solution.
can understand that.
That's part of my business.
But it needs to be
That's your
directable.
business.
That's part of my
It
business.
needs to be
So
directable to
we
that.
didn't want to take it.
This
This
is
is
more
more.
secure. This is not a secure system.
Yeah, and that should be able to be pieced together.
We simply load the content which allows us the surrounding system, the surrounding firewall which can be accessed. Otherwise, it would look like that switch. So it was good that it's not connected the Windows platform to the internet. Otherwise, it looked like so. But this might be something which you don't want to have in your archive because
Correct.
Yeah, but
The
if
image
I'm
is-
a stupid mail user, then I always have the option in my mail client to say download images, yes, no. If I say as on the user side, yes, you should be complete. No need anymore.
If we're at the user level, yes, where they're given the option, do you want me to get the pictures? I couldn't find them, I couldn't access them.
Yeah.
That would be a good tip there, or in our case, it would be more interesting to input that to another area where someone could take a step later. Or say, this is the first initial, nothing's available, but if you want it, we could get it because tomorrow they may not be there.
So in a way, Mark is just dragging the emails onto there. That you can see the other window where you have more parameters to specify what you're doing. And this solution is we are using the desktop thing because it's easier to demonstrate.
Yeah.
In fact, the solution is more intended to not interactively convert particular emails to a PDF. It's rather to be used as a command line or the library. And there you can define whether you want to insert all of the images to HTML emails or not.
Well, I would like to have it conditional where we can specify conditions. So the ones where in question would not be included, but we need to then have a list. These were requested ones that we couldn't satisfy. And these are ones we could satisfy. And then when something's allowed, if it could be identified, which would be a good trick, it'd be kind of like doing spoofing on a wide area network to say 50 different emails wanted this one image, but we only have to get it once. Because a lot of things are repetitive. So why keep going to the internet and download the thing 100,000 times, 100 different emails? I can cache it once and then give it to another, keep going to the internet. Reducing bandwidth. But if it's identifiable.
some kind of proxy or so.
But the problem is if someone uses the same name, if the website would put a different engine in there tomorrow, how do you determine it?
There are so many. That's all about security and network access and so, and that is definitely out of the scope of.
Well, I agree with that. That's 100% correct. It's just that nice to know who's the next layer that can address that issue, that is specifically interested in that task and knows what they're doing to address those things. And it shouldn't be a part of yours. That's correct. It doesn't need to be.
Okay, back.
One question. This PDF is now one. It's not one of the standard one.
Yeah,
It's
just that's the reason why I just switched on here the switchboard, because I can close it. No, and we have here in the desktop version we have the possibility to change the template, and also we have here a predefined set, and on the CLI or server you have more flexibility, but we have here a selection of possible combinations where we thought this would make sense. So we have the possibility to say make a simple PDF. That was the option which was just activated. So you can say simply embed the attachment as original. So if an attachment is, we put it simply into it. Embed attachment as PDF. This is an issue which I wanted to show you now. And in the Windows environment, we had this option open. So that's the reason why it's not converted to PDF A1B. So I just open it again, and now you see it's also some kind of progress bar in the bottom where we just converted this email from this EML system via HTML to PDF, and then converted this to the last remaining issues to a PDF A1B. So it's simply a kind of which setting is activated. So like now I want to switch back to the. Let's do it off. So now what?
Sag mal so, du hast noch 10 Minuten.
Ja.
Ich glaube, du bist am Anfang.
Nö, bin ich am Anfang. I'm not at the beginning. So just a short look how we handle attachment. Now we have here a simple email. When I drop it onto the PDF iPalette, it took again a short while, because in this case we have a simple email where we can see that there is some, I don't like these magic mouses, so we can see there was an attachment. So you can simply see, you could also open it in Acrobat where you can see it. We have simply added the original attachment, converted this attachment, where you can see it was a docx and Word document, which was attached to this email to PDF, converted all this package to PDF A1B, and attached it as separate pages. Because this is required in PFA, of course, we cannot embed contents as files into the PDF.
And it has created bookmarks so that you're able to go to
If
that.
you would have more attachment, you would have more bookmarks, and just jump to the page where the attachment starts. So we also have, of course, more possibilities depending on the standard. When you go to PDF A2, for example, you can, the most comfortable way is to embed the attachment included in this email as separate PDFs, of course, which makes much more sense. That you can see here, it's also converting here a little bit. So you can see here now we have an embedded file, which is also marked as a PDF, and this former docx document, Word document, has been converted on the fly to a PDF and embedded into the source email document, where you can also see it like you have it in your email client with a link to the attachment marked here as a docx, so we know it was a Word file in the past, but it's now included as a PDF in this file. No, I don't want to save this.
May I ask you?
Yeah, of course.
When you convert to PDF revision 2, so you can have only PDF-based attachments, how do you handle attachments with from zip files or files that cannot be converted to PDF directly?
This depends. In the normal user desktop, we simply, I'm not sure at the moment, I think we skip them and make an error warning at the end that not all attachment can be included. In the CLI and in the libraries, we have, of course, a very flexible whitelisting, blacklisting, how to handle different kinds of attachment, convert them to not convert them, or even for zip files. In the next version we have the possibility that attached zip files will be extracted and included also in the email PDF.
And what about recursivity? What if the attachment is an email?
We also, when you have an email attached as an email, which means that we will also convert this email as a PDF, which is then contained in the former containing email. So we have also this structure inside, of course. This is saved inside of the PDF. So the last and most interesting things is, of course, embed attachments as original and PDF-A. So when you simply drop it, it took also some seconds to convert the now, in this case, Word file. You can see it here that we have the Word file as it is in the as it was attached in the email and converted as a PDF file in the containing email body PDF.
Do you also have a feature for signing, for digital signing these new PDFs?
No, that is not part. So it can be combined, of course.
It's not part of these products.
It's not part of. No, we don't have. So we don't do security or
But the result is with PDF-A, now you can use any signature solution.
right.
Yeah, but now we have to go again through another process.
Yeah.
Future is better.
And as a final possibility, as we say in German, eierlegende Wollmilchsau, which means egg-laying pig or so, you can also, of course, embed in this PDF email file the original EML or MSG file, so you have all the possible combinations inside that. You can also grab or archive these MSG or EML file into your management system, and then have the possibility you can simply extract it maybe in Acrobat or so, this EML file, and simply click on it and it will open in your email client, so you can answer it as it would be if you have it in your own mailbox. So you can simply handle it and answer it maybe in 10 years like it was.
If the email system still recognizes that file.
Right. Of course, that's the problem of
That's
PDF3,
the
of
problem with
course.
the archive.
Yeah.
So Frank, you as a user, so you have multiple choices, and we have discussed with some users. It's up to the user. This was a bank. They said we want PDF-A.
I find it
And in
excellent.
case we need to dig down into mail, we are fine with having the complete email.
I find it excellent.
The logical decision of your company may be another one to say we want to organize it in another way.
I find it excellent. It's with just the hint, as long as that's still supported, go for it. Do what you want. There are all the options, no limits.
Yeah.
Go for it.
In fact, that is one of the ideas of PDF-A3, to be always able to combine, to have a robust format for future use, and in addition have the original source, and in order, if you are able to access that and use that, then you'll still be able to do that.
How do you handle signed emails?
Yeah, it's supported. So of course, if
If
it
it has an original file in, that you can check later on if it's signed, the signature.
yeah. So if you are, you mean
Or
if,
do you do like a test and present like a result sheet that the signature was okay during the time you created that PDF?
so if it's signed in a way that I don't need to have a password also in order to access it. So if your email client would display it without having the identity added to the system or so, then it would work just with a PDF iPilot in the same way as it works with your client.
So this is also a nice use case for PDF-A3. So this was before PDF-A3, this was a little bit problematic. You receive a signed PDF, so as an attachment, you want to convert it to PDF-A because you think PDF-A is good in your archive, you break it. Or you can simply embed it. So you have a long-term PDF-A version, and you can also embed the original sign, so you have both things. And this is what a really very good use case for PDF-A3 from my point of view.
But you're talking about a signed mail, not a signed attachment to the
I'm talking about the signed attachment.
I talk about
And
mail.
then the signed-
signed mail or
Yeah.
signed mail or a mail with signed attachments, either embedded or with PKCS7 file attached, external signature
In
file.
that case, the signature would obviously be broken, right?
This is broken, I guess, or must be. But you're doing a technical conversion to PDFA.
Just a final word, let me just say about file sizes, which is also quite interesting. I've copied the EML file into the folder where you can see it's sometimes even not very much bigger than the original. We have 77 kilobytes for the original email, and depending on the kind of conversion and embedding, the files is getting bigger, of course, when you do everything that's converted to PDF and original email and original attachment, it will become quite bigger, of course. But in some cases, it's not so much bigger, depending on the file structure, and emails are normally coded in SE7-bit, I think, which is quite large, and PDF uses quite good compression inside. So.
Question.
Yeah.
Or are there some external software required for the conversion to PDF in case of attachments? What kind of formats can do your software do it automatically without any?
Without any, we support message formats, of course, by its own images, PostScript EPS. For Office conversion, we are using Microsoft or OpenOffice installed on the system. We don't have our own converter because we said it makes more sense to let them convert.
So then up to the user to set up the machine in such a way to be able to do the conversion.
Simply in Microsoft Office or an OpenOffice, which is or LibreOffice or so, that we can simply handle these very big.
But you don't need to do that for email. So for email, the email itself
Email
is supported natively, but for the Office files,
it's more about the Office formats.
For this we need
So
some
on
kind
the
of
kind of
application.
server environment, you use probably the OpenOffice.
Or Microsoft Office, depending when you
Yeah.
Linux, LibreOffice, or so.
I see.
Thank you. Variety.
I have two questions. First, can I throw entire PST files at this thing, or only individual messages?
So we are working on this. Will be included somewhere during the year.
Okay. And the second question, we looked at a desktop product. If I wanted to apply this to my email system and have it automatically convert emails that are old or coming in regularly, convert those to PDFA3, could I do this? Or PDFA in general, could I do this as well? Or do I require third-party software to extract email into EML, into message, or any other format in order for
This,
Model
yeah.
two?
So far it's supporting MSG and EML. So you would have to, I don't know, export it in a way from your email incoming email system. It would be fairly easy to add POP3 protocol. So far we have learned from customers that we have that they have some system beforehand, which an MS Exchange system or so that already has MSG files. Okay?
I'm finished.
I'm not.
Show it to me at the end of presentation.
1 minute? We can very briefly, just to make sure that I think we covered everything, but okay, we've got that one. Just everything as we have seen. Yeah, not mentioned, but you already saw that we also add some metadata into the page content so that you can read it. These are actually some recommendations. So if you happen to use some other solution, for converting email to PDFA, you should make sure that metadata is imported into the header fields or into the XMP of the PDF. Use whenever possible predefined properties, everything, and you may add that into the page content. So I'm really trying to make that in 1 minute. Email body, it's important to support HTML there, or at least the variant that is used by your email client. It's important, we think, for future purposes to insert referenced images, and for HTML it also makes sense to have useful page breaks. For email attachments, of course you need to decide whether you want to comply with PDFA2 or PDFA3, unzip zip files, create links in the main PDF file. Yes, PDFA3 supports everything, and for PDFA3 you should not just allow any file to end up in the PDF. You need to define a whitelist and a blacklist so that you have kind of some control about what file formats will show up in your archive, and so to make sure to be able to read that in years from now on. File sizes, we have seen that, so it's of course, or it may take more time, but it's important to know that an email is not a small file. It's 75% bigger due to only support of ASCII 7, at least if there are binary images, and PDF as the opposite. PDFA requires more information, but it makes extensive use of compression. So this is a regular text email will be slightly bigger, 1.5 to 2.5 in a brief evaluation that I did. A PDFA, if you only attach one, the original or a PDF, it's almost the same size because of this compression. HTML emails are usually significantly bigger due to the referenced images. Okay, this is just a conclusion. PDFA makes sense as a digital printout. You can use the look and feel of the email client. Attachments can be converted. PDFA3 is an interesting thing here. Metadata. Yeah, and PDFA we think it is already accepted in the archives for other file formats, and we are pretty sure that will be the case for email as well in the future. Thank you very much.